Welcome, everyone, to Beyond the Brandywine,
where we wander, wonder, and occasionally get lost in Middle-earth. I'm Angela.
And I'm Kelsey. Beyond the Brandywine is a cozy, curious, and occasionally chaotic journey across the lands of Middle-earth. Join us as we wander through the stories, laugh over the odd bits of lore, and follow tangents like hobbits chasing second breakfast. We're here to explore the places where the map fades and the questions get weird.
Or in this case, not weird, but delicious. Today's episode is for the foodies, the lore lovers, and anyone who's ever read Tolkien and thought, man, that sounds absolutely delicious. But how do I actually get it into my pantry?
Right? Like the amount of times I've read descriptions of foodstuffs, feasts, stuff being prepared for the fellowship. And I'm like, man, that sounds great. But
I want to be part of that dinner party.
I want to be, well, maybe not the one where they interrupt Bilbo in The Hobbit. I feel his pain on that one.
I know, poor Bilbo. I really want to be invited to that random party in the woods that the elves throw when they're still in the Shire, I think.
Oh, when they save him from the ring race.
Yeah. It just sounded so lovely.
Well, minus the forced march till after midnight. And they're like, don't worry, we'll get there.
But it was worth
there's
it
food at the end.
Yeah.
Well, and I've read the description of Lembas probably 50 times. And I'm like, man, it sounds like a really good shortbread. I want that recipe in my life. But it's literally impossible to make now because nobody remembers how to make it.
Only Galadriel and her couple maidens.
Yeah. Well, I think Arwen, too, because she spent so much time in Lothlorien, she probably learned the recipe.
It's her grandmother.
It's her grandma, right?
It got passed. It's definitely grandma's recipe.
Yeah, I don't know if it's grandma's recipe. I don't think he ever explicitly talks about Arwen knowing the recipe, but I feel like her being in Lothlorien would have known it. Maybe she was the last one in Middle-earth proper that knew the recipe, like whether she passed it on to anybody when she became queen with Aragorn.
Well, yeah, I was like, do the people of Gondor now get Lembas bread in a stall? And
you can't commercialize grandma's recipe.
That's true. You're right.
This is a time-honored tradition, Grandma. You can't just put it on the back
of
anybody. Betty Crocker box, like the Betty Crocker box of Lembas. Like that would be a sad sight.
Well, I already think of Lembas as those little shell cookies that you can, it's like these shell shortbread cookies that you can get in Costco. They sell them other places.
Yeah,
but
they're French.
Yes. Yeah. What are they called?
It looks like Madeleine, but it's Madeleine.
Cool. Yeah, that's it. That's actually Lembas bread, and we've just been getting it from Costco.
Yeah. Are we going to talk about Lembas first? Is that where you want to go with it?
Yeah, we're already talking about it.
Sweet.
And it's my personal favorite.
Is it because it's an elvish thing or just because it sounds delicious or all of the above?
All of the above. Yeah. I'm definitely an elf at heart, so I associate with the Lembas bread. But yeah, I think it's because ever since I read the books, I picture it as just like this light, moist, lemon-flavored cake. Mm. I just put all my favorite flavors into it. Like a little bit of honey, a little bit of lemon.
Yeah.
And I like your idea.
Oh, lavender and rosemary or something kind of herby. Woodsy. I mean, I feel like with the power of the elves, they've got the ability to make it taste however you want it to taste. I feel like
that's what maybe
you just
think whatever you want. I'd love to know now what other people think, like their favorite. What is Lembas flavor to you?
What do you imagine it to be? I mean, how does Tolkien describe it? He describes it. I mean, the basic description in the books is pretty simple. I think it's in the Fellowship of the Ring, and Tolkien tells us they're thin cakes, light brown on the outside, and inside they're cream colored. And they're wrapped in the Malorn leaves, right? The leaves from the trees in Lorien and tied with a silver thread. But that's, in terms of flavor, we don't get a whole lot. It's just what they look like and how they're stored and not what they taste like.
Yeah. I know, I definitely put lemon in there on my own. But I don't know. The elves just seem like they'd have something lemony, but maybe that's
little
definitely
something. Little drops of starlight. And
it's just, they're so light. What's the crisp,
airy? Well, I imagine them kind of like you described the cookies, the Madeleines, where you bite into it and maybe there's a little bit of a crunch, but it's much softer and lighter, that kind of cream colored on the inside. Sorry, your description got me thinking about what are artisanal flavors of the elves. Like, what would they add to Lembas?
Well, is it just one flavor? Do they have multiple? Definitely don't say, but we can make it whatever we want.
Just some rogue elf go off and be like, hey guys, I tried to make a version of Lembas with I don't know, pumpkin spice Lembas. And all the elves are like, what did you do? What did you do? That is not a flavor that's supposed to be in Lembas bread.
Oh, that is awesome. Pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice.
So basic.
Can we do this hashtag? It's PSL season. Maybe we can make it hashtag pumpkin spice lembas.
I would definitely eat it. I actually love pumpkin spice.
Lembas is only known as it's described, right, by a few people.
Yeah. Very few people know it. What, is Galadriel the only one that knows it at the time? Besides maybe if she's passing it to Arwen?
Yeah. Or if she's like, I don't know if she's given it to her ladies in waiting, whatever they are. Mm-hmm. I don't want to put classes on elves as I don't know their actual relationship with Galadriel. But the ladies who she hangs out with in her inner circle in Lothlorien know how to make it. But is it because she's telling them how to make it, or is it because she's actually giving them the recipe? Or
right. Are they able to give it to their friends and family? Or is it you're making it for Galadriel?
Yeah, you're making it at the direction when she tells you to make the lembas bread. Yeah,
I make it right.
Guys, she's having a lembas craving. This is not how
you did not pass the test.
Well, who was the original of the Valar that came up with the recipe? Because it's not an elvish recipe, right? Yeah,
Yavanna. Yeah. Hey, I knew something.
Hey, you know lots of things.
I have been studying because there's so many names in the Silmarillion.
Oh my gosh!
And I gave up on trying to read it. Yeah,
sad face.
Well, I by that I mean audiobook. I'm like, you got to tell it to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a hard time translating words on the page and sounding them out correctly. I think there's got to be some dyslexia in there. And then I end up pronouncing things totally backwards from what they should be.
I want to make a callback to our last episode on the Huorons.
Oh, yeah, I know, right?
The Horons?
The Horons.
There were like 2 extra syllables
Huorons.
There. The Huron. I was like, Huron. Here we
Huron.
go. Yeah, it sounds like a Marine chant. Like, Huron.
Huron.
Like, no, it's, no, I understand that. The Martin Shaw audiobook dramatized version of the Silmarillion, it's got sound effects a little bit and music, but his voice is so dulcet and so British and so perfect. So if you haven't heard that audio version of the Silmarillion, it's incredible.
Okay. I will have to look it up.
Yeah, but I don't think they go into the description of Yavanna making lembas in the Silmarillion, do they?
I don't know.
To our research team.
Yeah, because I don't remember where I read that.
Huh. Yeah.
It's a great question, though.
We'll go back to it and see if we can find a citation or something. I don't know if they describe it. I think that feels like an appendices thing to me, where somebody's asking about the origin of lembas, or it's brought up, where I think in the Fellowship, Galadriel knows how to make it. And there's a couple notes from Tolkien where he's very explicit in terms of this recipe's exclusivity. And I know we'll get to it, but for folks, they're like, wait, you guys just started talking about lembas. What on earth is lembas? Lembas it's an elven bread, the proprietary recipe we'll go with, and is not made very often. And for most folks familiar with the Lord of the Rings books or the movies, it's that bread, crisp cookie thing in the leaves that is given in the end of the Fellowship of the Ring, right? When the Fellowship is leaving their lovely stay in Lothlorien. They're like, here, take some snacks to go.
Mix. Well, yeah, here's your protein bars,
Yeah.
But they're made with extra special, not just enough energy to keep you going, but spiritual
nourishment.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the movie, Merry and Pippin are sitting around, and I think it's Legolas runs over and he's like, oh, lembas.
Yeah.
And his in his very
bite.
dainty way, one bite can sustain even the greatest person for a whole day. And he just kind of floats off, and Merry and Pippin give each other a side eye,
how many did you eat?
And they're like, a couple. At least.
4.
A whole thing. Right? There are 4 of them.
That was, I think, a little bit more of an exaggeration than in the books, but still, wasn't that real in the books as well? Or am I just...
I think in the books, it's Gimli.
Oh,
right. He thinks it's just Cram hardtack, which we will get to. It's another interesting.
It's delicious.
And then they're like, no, this is a completely different thing. He's like, all right, I'll give it a bite. And then he's just holy crap. And he eats, I think, the whole.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, no, you only need to eat a little bit.
Pace yourself, Master Dwarf. This isn't.
Okay. So they made it the hobbits in the movie.
Yeah. And I think they amped it up in terms of how many they
ate. But it is hilarious. So.
Yeah. And to your point, it's supposed to sustain you. You take a bite and you're good. And it's also not supposed to be here's my daily serving of lembas. It's when you're really desperate or you run out of other food or whatever. Like, you got Lembas, and that should last you a good long while as long as it's stored properly and like not broken. I think unbroken.
I think still wrapped in the mallow leaf. Yeah.
Which makes me wonder if they kind of provide some sort of protection or anything where like it helps keep it fresh or imbue it with elven power, if we will.
Yeah. Does it have its own power? Or is it just actually really good at keeping the oxygen on?
Right?
Right.
It makes you wonder if it really is magic. Tolkien was really careful about not explicitly calling out magic too often in the books and in his writings, right? Like, it's there, but it's not like they, did their magical thing and poof, the cakes came out and we know it's imbued with magic. But like, maybe they were just really good at advanced baking techniques that they haven't shared with everybody.
Well, I think in the books it does come across that they have some kind of power to fight against like the evil of Mordor when Frodo and Sam were there.
Oh.
It just kind of gives the impression that I thought the Lembas itself had some power of the elves, kind of like the cloaks.
Oh, that's a really interesting take. I'd actually never thought about that. Where, like, I know they're like the cloaks will help hide you and camouflage you because there's special elven materials woven by Lady Galadriel. Although there's a connection there, like whatever she touches seems to have just super extra powers in some sense. And then, yeah, that's really cool. So like them carrying the Lembas with them almost gave them like a little extra aura of protection from Lothlorians.
It's like it's sustaining not just physically but spiritually. Like, well, Lembas, hot take.
Yeah.
Lembas was the goat. Lembas is why they even made it to Mount Doom. Like, it was the goat of the fellowship, and that like Legolas, Gimli, and Aragorn, they're sustained by it during their run across the fields to catch up to the orcs with Merry and Pippin.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're not really hunting during that time. They're just like, go and sustaining themselves off of the Lembas. And then same with Frodo and Sam. Like, they would not have made it without the Lembas bread. So I'm like, Lembas, they would not even have made it without getting that.
Galadriel's foresight in baking. I mean, that's a really interesting take, honestly, because I mean, I think there's a lot of things that people point out about, like, they made it to Mount Doom because Sam literally carried Frodo and destroyed the spider, right? Or they made it to Mount Doom because the power of the ring was drawing Frodo there, or, Gandalf had somehow...
But Sam wouldn't have even been able to carry Frodo without some Lembas bread.
No, that's a really cool take. Right. It sustains them through the most critical parts of later on. Although I feel like Boromir should have eaten some before he fought off the hobbits then, but...
Wait, fought off the hobbits?
Or fought off the orcs.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Wow, Kelsey.
I just imagine Merry and Pippin on top of his back, like...
No, the joke scene where they're fighting in the movies.
Yeah,
and they
exactly.
trick him. No, when Boromir is fighting off the orcs, I don't know. Maybe that's one of the special properties of it being so exclusive, right? Like, a couple of people know it. They don't make it that often. Maybe it's only brought out in the most dire of times where they're like, stuff's about to hit the fan.
Yeah.
We know people need to giddy on up. A regular trail mix isn't going to cut it.
Right.
Here's the super ultimate.
Well, it makes sense. It's like, if it's this recipe passed down through only the elves and it's special cakes that aren't made every day.
Yeah.
It's like, we are going on this epic journey. Here's some cakes. It's going to get you through it.
Epic Cakes. Maybe they should rebrand it to Epic Cakes instead of Lembas.
Yeah.
No, Lembas sounds much nicer.
Rebrand. Also, Gollum is disgusted by these cakes. Seems like it's beyond a flavor level into like the power of the elves are in those cakes. And he is repelled.
Yeah, he has the same kind of visceral physical reaction to it as he does the elven rope, right? Like the elven rope burns his skin or whatever, and then he tries to eat the Lembas and it's like,
you're trying to poison me.
Yeah, this is nasty. What is this stuff? Yeah. So maybe only the pure of heart, soul, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, there's something
can
about
benefit from it in some way, or even physically ingest it. In this case with Gollum, he's too far gone to eat the good stuff. But
yeah, just another sign, I guess, that there's no saving.
There's no
for Gollum.
There's no. Well, I do think it's funny though. Like, there's a quote from Tolkien where he talks about the origins of Lembas, and he said, "This is the food that Eldar alone knew how to make, and only the Eldar was its full wholesome virtue known." And only these were permitted to use it. So it's a couple things there, right? The true nature of all the benefits that would be on the nutrition label of Lembas are only known to a couple of the elves that were granted,
literally passed down by the gods.
Yeah, Or maybe just because they're so different from men and hobbits and some of the later races that the full effects don't apply to anyone, maybe, beyond the elves.
So like even the hobbits and anybody, the fellowship that ate Lembas, they weren't even getting the full like benefits?
Maybe. I mean, I guess we'll have to ask Legolas on that one since he's the closest to, he's a wood elf. He's not from Lothlorien and he wasn't born in the Undying Lands, right? So maybe there's something there. Like, that's why I wonder if, like, there's like tiers of how Lembas affects people, right? Like, there's the OG elves have seen the light of the two trees. Like, they get the full power-up effects from it.
Maybe they really do only need a tiny bite.
Yeah.
Where maybe a dwarf needs to eat the whole thing.
There's like proportional responses to, right? And then you've got wood elves or elves that stayed in Middle Earth the whole time. Maybe they get a lot of it, but not all of it. I don't know. And then men, they eat some and they're like, cool, this is great. And dwarves are like, I got to eat the whole thing, man, to like feel the full effects. Like,
and hobbits need 4.
Yeah. Like, I don't hate that take on it, because it'd be interesting to see how something of the from Yavanna, one of the Valar, gifted to the Eldar, like how the trickle down effects are on the other races of Middle Earth. Well,
yeah, it does seem like it's probably not as strong as it was when the Eldar made it.
Would they GMO the grains for Lembas too much? And it's just
it's diluted.
It's diluted the potency.
It's just changed over time.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, like, we don't know. I mean, there's a lot of record keeping, and I would hope that maybe Elrond or somebody in Rivendell has one of the few remaining.
Well,
or would he be given it if it's known by Galadriel?
Oh, Elrond?
Yeah. Do you think he's tried to ask for the recipe?
Oh my gosh.
Or like his wife Celebrian was Galadriel's daughter, so maybe he was like,
oh, okay.
Hey,
he probably has it in Rivendell. I'm sure he does.
So about mother-in-law Galadriel's recipe, are you allowed to share it? Do you think he tried to get the full recipe? Because he loves knowledge and he loves understanding
He's got
things.
it there. They have it there.
Maybe he has it and Galadriel's just like, all right, but you're cool, so you're the one
Well,
person.
He didn't give it to the Fellowship.
No.
But maybe there's more food in between.
Maybe.
Rivendell and...
They didn't ask. The Fellowship doesn't ask for it, right? They're just kind of given their stuff
true.
And they got to get on their way because they have a lot of things to do.
Well,
it's implied in the meeting in Lothlorien, in Fellowship of the Ring, that Galadriel kind of knows this is the last time they're all going to see. I mean, she says explicitly to Aragorn, right? Like, I'm not going to see you again. It was a special order. Like, let's make one really... How long do you think they were baking that? Because it's a lot they give to the Fellowship.
It's like, hey, you can't leave yet. The bread's still rising.
Well, they do more before they leave in the books, right? Like in the movie, they just kind of have their thing. You see Galadriel waving at them, and then you have the flashbacks to the gifts being given. But in the books, like, they go a little bit out on the river, and then she and Celeborn are like, hey, let's have a party and a picnic before you go. And they talk about a bunch of things and give them the gifts and the Lembas and all that. And then they finally sail off. But they kind of trick them, right? Like, they start going down the river, and they're like, but wait, we've got one last thing set up for you guys before you leave. Yeah, which is really sweet.
They're cool.
Yeah, but I think to your point, like, it being a special order, this Lembas bread really is significant in terms of a gift to the Fellowship, because if Tolkien is saying that only the Eldar were permitted to use it, and I don't know if he means like bake it or just ingest it, but it's supposed to be this really special thing for the Eldar, and Galadriel and her crew go out of their way to bake a special batch for all these men, the hobbits, dwarves, which is my lord,
right?
Like,
there's some elves in there.
The elves of the Second Age are rolling around in the halls of Mandos on that one. But yeah, like, it's a big deal that they not only make it and gift it to them. It's a large amount. It's a significant thing. I think Tolkien had said that the Eldar did not give it to men, save for only a few whom they loved, if they were in great need, right? So it's like those two conditionals. But one, we got to like you. If we're not friends, you're not getting Lembas.
Yeah. And then not just any day.
Yeah, not just like, I'm hungry and it's tea time, but like, I'm going on an epic quest to defeat someone. Okay, now you can have some. You've reached the threshold for being permitted to be given Lembas.
Yeah.
And the elves are probably still hoarding it, right? They're like, well, we only give it to them when they really need it, but we eat it all the time. Like,
yeah, it's like just a cookie.
Do you think they get sick of it? They're like, ugh, Lembas again. Lembas, we've had it too many times.
They react like Gimli did to Cram, which maybe that's a good...
Yeah, I mean, on our magical food tour of Middle Earth here, I think if you've got Lembas on one end of the spectrum, Cram is like the anti-Lembas, if you will.
The exact opposite, where Lembas is like as delicious as you can imagine, whatever flavor you want. Cram is like no flavor.
It's practical.
It's crumbly. It's dry. It's kind of hard. It's a stale. Maybe not stale.
Well, Tolkien has a pretty rough description of it.
I mean, they don't mince words with it.
No. I mean, it's... Where is it? I have to pull this up. It says, it is biscuitish, keeps good indefinitely, is supposed to be sustaining. I like how he says supposed to be. Like, being supposed, maybe it doesn't necessarily, and is certainly not entertaining, being in fact very uninteresting except as a chewing exercise. I was like, that's really, I mean, granted, that's a very British way of saying insulting it completely, but that sounds miserable. It might be sustaining.
If you can swallow it, it would sustain you.
but do you even want to try?
Swallow it.
If you can get past the lack of flavor and the amount of chewing you're doing. Well, and also, Cram doesn't come from the elves, right?
No, so I thought it was the dwarves. And I was like, I guess the dwarves might make something that, just
insulting.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell Thorin you said
that. But it's actually the men of Dale.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's a man food.
It's man-made, but I'm like, well, I guess they're way up there in the fishing town. They don't have a lot going on, I guess, flavoring-wise, spices. Do they not have ovens?
But they're a big trading hub, aren't they? Like, do they just not
that's true.
ask for spices?
Yeah, their whole thing is, I remember them being a fishing town, and I guess they do some trading.
Yeah, they do
some hunting, but...
And it's not just Lake Town. Like, there's the Men of the Dale in, like, the regions around Lake Town, right? So it's, like, that whole area south of Erebor, the mountain from The Hobbit.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about up there, but my impression from The Hobbit was that it's out there. It's a little rural, maybe.
The real estate prices are definitely lower up there as compared to, say, like, prime areas, Lothlorien and Rivendell and Hobbiton. We're under market average if you're looking for a 4-bedroom house in Dale.
So, it's not super big on making things fancy. It's just, it's rugged.
Yeah, I think rugged's a nice.
Rugged.
Like, there's a lot of cool stuff up there. But yeah, I did not realize. I was with you. I thought when we were discussing, I think, food stuff for this episode before, I was like, oh yeah, the dwarven cram. My bad. Apologies to the Men of the Dale. I did not, in fact, realize it was their recipe.
Well, I think I'm connected to the dwarves because when Gimli reacts to Lembas, that we mentioned before, that he's like, ugh, cram.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, he must know all about it. And like, it's a dwarven thing. But then I realized that if the dwarves actually made it, I don't think, even if it was just the same horrible flavor, I think Gimli would have talked it up as something great.
Like something dwarvish and to be proud of.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, cram, it goes down a little rough, but it'll keep you going.
Right.
He would have talked it up in some way.
It's like your family member trying to convince you that mayonnaise sandwiches really are in fact good, and you're looking at them like, I can't get over the fact that he could have been within earshot of Galadriel, who's like probably spent all night making Lembas, and he's like, ugh, cram. Like, can you imagine how? I do not recall if that's before or after she gives him the gifts, but it would be really funny.
Oh, yeah.
If he's like done the whole thing and asked for 3 strands of her hair and the whole like exchange and then been
It's before.
Okay, good.
It's before.
Slightly less insulting. Not great.
Yeah, because you would have not gotten some of her hair.
Like,
let me take those back.
Cram is like, rude. You have revoked your Lembas
No, but he had high praise for it after he tasted it, at least. But
yeah, but his initial,
cram. Yeah, I mean, the description of it definitely doesn't make me want to try it much.
No, it seems like if you're desperate and you're rooting around your bag from your adventure and you're like, I'm out of literally everything else and I don't want to forage tonight, well, I guess I have some cram.
I have definitely tried baking things that did not turn out well that I'm pretty sure would be similar to cram.
Did you make accidental cram?
Yeah, I'm not a good bread baker. It doesn't turn out like Lembas.
Well, but it does share, like, if you do like a Venn diagram, right, with Lembas and cram, there are some similarities, right? Like, they both theoretically can last for a very long time if you keep it in whatever conditions that are specified on the packaging, right? Like, it's either in Malorn leaves or however cram is packaged.
Cram you just put in your pocket.
It's some sort of a grainy-like thing that may or may not taste. I think they say sometimes they may add honey to cram, right, to make it taste a little less bad.
A little better.
A little more palatable. And it's a practical survival. Take this on a long, important journey. Like, this isn't, we're just going down the road to our friend's house, Beorn, for like a day, right? Like, we are... Right. You need to be in true desperate nature to have cram and to actually need
It's literally
to
the
use
last thing that you're going to eat.
Yeah.
out of everything else in your packet.
Sometimes it's like maybe we are foraging for herbs tonight, but it makes me wonder why the dwarves in The Hobbit, because that's where we both thought it came from. Like the dwarves, there's a lot of descriptions of them breaking out the cram on the journey with Bilbo, and we find out that it was given to them by the men of Dale for like the last bit of the journey, right, to the Lonely Mountain. I guess they didn't have it early on. They had it like they get to Lake Town and then they give them cram to like sustain them on the trip to the mountain. Did the dwarves not have their own version of something that would be slightly more palatable that they would have invented over all these centuries?
That's what I was going to say, is if it wasn't the dwarves that made cram, then it sounds like they don't have their own version, or at least not one that Tolkien ever talked about.
Yeah.
So then I started wondering, well, what would theirs be?
Oh.
And I was like, they would definitely do something like, the beer. It's got beer in it somehow, like beer battered or
really beer battered bread.
Yeah.
It's a good alliterative. I don't know if that's something they want to eat.
I don't know. I'm like flavor
like a really good like sourdough bread or something like
maybe something like that. Yeah. What would the dwarves?
Dense. I'm envisioning like a really good pumpernickel rye or a black bread type thing where it's got all that good dark and hearty and goes well with beer or whatever you're drinking, or a slab of meat, and it'll keep. But yeah, I wonder why the dwarves, maybe they had someone they go on their initial journey to see Bilbo from wherever, but yeah, why don't they have their own stuff tucked away? Why are they relying on stuff from the Met?
Yeah, do they really have to rely on cram? They couldn't make their own version or something?
I don't know about that. I guess if it's practical and they know they're going on a long journey and they're familiar with the Men of Dale.
Yeah.
In the past, they'd interacted with them and traded with them. So maybe they were like, we don't love it, but we know we can get these really great.
Yeah, I guess they don't have to make their own version.
Yeah.
Maybe they tried to make their own version and it's not as good as cram.
Are dwarves secretly the worst bakers in Middle Earth?
I mean, yeah, they eat red meat and probably, because I'm going off of Gimli when he's talking about
raw meat off the bone.
Yeah.
Ale and...
ale and meat off the bone is what we know for sure. I'm like, probably potatoes. I don't know. They seem like they'd eat potatoes. They're a meat and potatoes type of person.
I don't want to stereotype the dwarves. I mean, because not the one good thing, I really liked how they portrayed the dwarves in Rings of Power, where they finally show peak Moria, and you see the way they're using light shafts to create these wonderful gardens underground. Like, I actually think they probably have a lot of different.
I love that about Rings of Power, actually. Like, Khazad-dûm was glorious. Yeah.
Chef's kiss. Yeah. It was so good.
Yeah, because the only other vision of Moria I ever got was from Lord of the Rings, which is all just a tomb by that point.
Yeah.
So I love that. And yeah, I didn't even think about the fact that they would have had their own ways of making light and farming.
But like, are they growing grains? Again, like, we're not talking about, there's no dwarven, lembas, cram, whatever you're going to have it.
The only thing we really have is Gimli talking about meat on the bone.
Raw meat off the bone. Again,
that's Gimli's favorite, obviously.
Yeah. Cram is, I was trying to think if there's any place else that's really mentioned other than The Hobbit. I can't remember if they talk about it extensively or at all in Lord of the Rings, but like when I was reading
it's just Gimli's little curse of it.
Yeah. Cram. That's what I remember. Moving on. But I definitely think a lot of scholars, and even myself when I was, younger reading this, it reminds me of like hardtack, the really crappy, unleavened white stuff they would give to like military folks and soldiers. And you always hear about it. And especially like old descriptions of the British Navy. I anticipate that Tolkien might have had something similar to it in his rations in World War I. Yeah. Which may have sort of come across in the disdain for this. That's practical and you can eat it if you have to, but it's
based off of something.
It tastes disgusting, man. Like I wonder if there's some historical context there that he might have lived.
It's got to make you more thirsty than you started out before you ate it.
You got to down. You got to down the
like,
whole
that's
thing.
Why it'll make you survive, but now you got to wet your whistle.
Yeah. There's a description where Bilbo allegedly gets the recipe for it while he's, I don't know if it's while he's in Lake Town or after everything goes down with, collector of, it's a recipe.
He's chatting up the cook and, getting some extra on the side.
Yeah. Well, little does he know, he's just getting the recipe for cram. It's nothing spectacular. But he apparently brings it back to the Shire and makes a version of it, or like is able to replicate it to a certain degree where he kind of, in his elder and more quirky days as he kind of ages before the events of Lord of the Rings when he would just go out wandering and stuff, he makes a version of it and takes it with him on his walks. And Bilbo takes the recipe back, and I guess it says something that if a hobbit doesn't hate it enough,
Okay.
that they're able to make it. Or maybe he tweaked the recipe for Cram to make it more
It's
tasty.
like, well, they didn't put in enough yeast or whatever.
There's zero flavor in this. Let's just get a pinch of anything. Salt,
anything. I was
sugar.
going to say salt, but anything.
Anything.
I'm remembering when I was a kid and I had one of those easy bake ovens, and I think I was out of the packets of mix to make your own cookies. And so I tried to copy my mom by making my own mix. And I was like, well, I know she puts in flour, and I know that there's baking powder. And so I think I was making Cram. It had no flavor. My mom had to come in and be like, well, let's add a little of this and sugar and that type of stuff. So I'm like, I think I was on my way to Cram.
Your early way Cram experimentation.
It was probably the same texture. I did not put enough.
Love it. Well, now you just need a quest and you're all set, right? Like you've got your Cram set. You've got everything else. So you're ready. I mean, I will say about Cram, it's not as exclusive. It's accessible. It's a very accessible recipe.
Yep.
Bilbo was able to get it and bring it back to the Shire.
If you've got to survive in the wilderness. And
it's practical. Yeah. It's a democratic survival bread as opposed to a very elitist one out of Lembas.
As delicious as Lembas sounds. Yeah, it's too elite.
And I don't think Cram has the special powers that Lembas has. But, if it gets you through, then...
Well, that could bring us to one that's right in the middle.
Oh?
The Honeycakes of Beorn.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
these are ones I definitely want to eat.
They are a little exclusive. I don't know if they're as exclusive as Lembas.
No,
but they still sound delicious.
Yeah, I don't think they are because I think it's Gimli that references the Beorn's trade with other groups, right? So the men that are nearby or people that come through their territory. And it seems to be that they are at least more known than Lembas. Like Lembas seems like a super exclusive. You're only in the club if you know 3 passwords and knock on the door backwards.
Like Gimli didn't even know what it was.
Yeah. If the dwarves have even heard of the Honeycakes of the Beornings, people know they exist. You might not have tried one, but it's not like they're kept under lock and key or thou shalt not speak the name of the true cakes of Beorn, right?
Yeah.
We know what they are.
I think you get a honey cake when you're trusted. You're cool. You can have some of these. But it's not given to anybody unless you got to sit down and get to know the guy before he gives you the recipe.
Pass the Beorn vibes test to make sure you're... if you don't pass this test, you might just be killed by him in his bear form. But
right. Yeah. Or his gigantic bees.
Oh, man.
I was reading how apparently they're like a meter long, these bees. Is that
meter?
Real? I know
way.
That sounds ridiculous.
That sounds a little too big.
Might have to vibe check that one.
That sounds like the hobbits wouldn't have stayed there because they would have been fearful for their lives the whole time. 3 foot long bee. I know they're really big. Like they're bigger than normal bees.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is how they're able to produce so much honey because I'll be honest, other than Honeycakes, I'm not really sure what the Beornings live on because I remember the descriptions of books. It's like cakes and cream and butter and bread.
Actually, yeah. I'm trying to think
no meat. I don't even know if they're vegetables. It's not a very balanced diet.
I'm now trying to remember where I had this impression. Is Beorn... Well, he's a bear, right?
He's called a skin changer.
Yeah, but he turns into a bear?
He can shape change. So he can shapeshift. He's one of those ones that he's not like a bear version of a werewolf. He's not that. And Tolkien doesn't... I don't think he fully explains what these skin changers are because are they men with slight magical powers? Do they have a curse on them? It's never fully explained. But they really like honey and they make really good cakes. So I think they're cool either way.
No, I definitely want to try this one. It just sounds to me like probably a banana bread in texture maybe. It's kind of dense, really moist.
Yeah.
A lot of honey flavor.
Well, I was reading somewhere online where people were debating what the honey cakes could have actually looked like because, I imagine...
We don't see it,
We don't see it. They're like twice as good as any food you've ever tasted and they're light, but they're very filling. They do also last for days. So I don't think it's like a spongy cake with icing on it or anything.
No.
But it's interesting to me that it's clearly packable. Like it's a cake you can take with you, which is cool. Probably not super fancy then, but some people almost describe them like soft honey oat circles, which is not how I had it in my head at all. I had it something more like baked with flour and like it's got honey infused in it that travels. But
that's what I think when I hear cake.
Yeah.
But so you're saying it's somebody who thought it was more round and dense?
Yeah, think like a soft Quaker oat bar almost.
Okay. Yeah.
Something like that where it's like oats and honey and it comes together. And I don't think we get a description of it in the books, which is why it's so interesting for me because there's such a vast opinion on what these things could actually look like, and like we'll go back to the books and see if there's citations there. But yeah, I think it's funny that it's clearly something they make a lot, and Beorn makes really good cakes. And I don't know if these bees are giant and magical, but I have a feeling the honey they produce is better than your average
I think
bee's
it's like
honey.
some special honey.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, and you need a lot of it. If you're making all these cakes.
Yeah.
You need some big bees.
Supersize these bees. It's interesting that it kind of splits. You talked about it being a middle ground, right? Like it splits the difference between the sort of super exclusivity of Lembas and the tasteless practicality of Cram, where Beorn's honey cakes they're known, right? So they're not super secret. The recipe isn't shared as far as we know, but the food itself is. But I don't think it can be created anywhere because you need his magical bees, right? And you probably need some of whatever goodness and terroir and everything is going on in Beorn's little kingdom there. I don't think you could probably do a version of it with regular bees in the Shire, right? But it's not going to taste the same.
Right.
So it's an interesting in-between for me where it's some exclusivity and restrictions around who's making it and how. But at least it's got flavor and is very, very good. And like Cram is so at the bottom of it's like negative flavor profile.
I would take a honey cake. It may not be a Lembas bread. It may not give you the kind of the spiritual side of it. But I feel like the honey cakes would give you just those kind of feel-good, warm and fuzzy vibes.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a little fancy. I'm going to treat myself with a little Beorn honey cake. I've traveled. Can you imagine? No.
The bear thinks I'm cool and gave me some honey cake.
Yeah. No, I was thinking about this last night, which was, do you think they have food tourists in Lord of the Rings?
I feel like they have to, only because I would be one of those.
Right? Totally. Same. Like, tangent. Because I was like, wait, say things calm down and we're not like at war and there's no like smog's not in the mountain anymore and the goblins have gone down in the Misty Mountains and they're chill or gone. The Balrog's settled. You know, Sauron's not trying to destroy the world and things are like chill in the early Fourth
you can
Age.
Freely travel now.
Yeah. And I want to there has to be food tours. I could just imagine these two really obnoxious, whatever the version of like bougie millennials are from whatever hobbits. They're like, we have traveled like so long. We've heard so much about these honey cakes, Beorn. Like we would love to know.
We're going to put it on Instagram.
What is your secret?
Yeah.
Do you want to do a collab? Like, can we post to this about like
if we stay in your in your home?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I have, so many followers.
Middle Earth hipsters in search of the hottest cuisines. But I bet if somehow the secret of Lembas got out, there would be people going to where Lothlorien used to be in the early Fourth Age being, what is this magical Lembas? We've heard there's Lembas here. Of course, there's no one there, right? Like Arwen occasionally wanders around, but like they're gone by the Fourth Age.
Well, they kind of give me that vibe in Prancing Pony. And even I think some of the outer places in the Shire where there's more travelers that just kind of come and go. And so Bree's known for being a place like that. I'm like,
I don't know if I'd make Bree a foodie destination, but I just saying that people coming through.
Yeah, just kind of it gave a perspective of people just travel for different reasons, and it's not always a quest. That I'm sure there's people that are just traveling for the sake of traveling around.
Although, let's be real, at the end of the Third Age, if they're hanging out in Barlim Butterbur's parlor while Sauron is starting to do his thing, I do have questions. Well, I don't think wartime tourism is...
No, but they did say that those were, some weird vibes.
Yeah, I was trying to think where I would go and the type of cuisine I would want to do because I would totally be that person.
I mean, I guess we don't really hear about much else that they cook in Lothlorien, but I want to be in the Shire and just go to one of their feasts.
Yeah.
Birthday feast or something.
I want to raid Bilbo's pantry. He'd probably kick me out like he almost did the dwarves.
I want some of his good vineyard.
I want cheese. I want good bread. I want good wine. I want no one to bother me. Yeah. I want to, before I forget, get back to Lembas because I know we were talking about what it is and the exclusivity, but I realized we didn't talk about Lembas disappearing for good. We did a little bit, but in terms of at the end
when the elves leave.
When the elves leave, that's it, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, when you were saying the tourism to Lothlorien, and it's like, well, what's there? I guess nothing.
I don't know. Maybe they left. I wonder if they left their their houses in the trees?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Can
I go?
You're like, best tree house ever.
Yeah, it's like now on the market.
Moving in. Oh my God, Lothlorien tourism. No, we're just destroying.
It's all Airbnb.
Commercialized. Everything in the Fourth Age was completely commercialized. No. So Galadriel and her ladies are the only ones that know the recipe, and they all leave Middle Earth by the end of the Third Age. And
you're right.
They take the last boats into the west.
Open.
Lothlorien's open. 1, great, let's move in. I'm going to be a shark in the real estate there. And then 2, nobody knows the recipe for Lembas anymore. So unless somebody wrote it down, snuck a copy, played telephone.
I guess Arwen, maybe.
And if she has it, it's not discussed that she shared it. It could very well die out.
Yeah.
Maybe the time in the Fellowship is the last time it's ever made. We don't know. Which would be really sad.
Yeah.
But
it's a good ending for Lembas.
Yeah, if it's going to go on one last Lembas journey, might as well be the one that saves the entire planet as opposed to some just random escapade down the river.
It's still the goat.
No, it's like, and it's so symbolic.
Yeah.
I know Tolkien hates allegory and he doesn't like people drawing these deep conclusions from his works. But there have been Tolkien scholars that said, look, he's Catholic, and the idea of Lembas being spiritual nourishment as well as physical nourishment is very reminiscent of the Eucharist that people take when they go to church, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the little, the little crackers and stuff that you eat when you take the body and the blood, and it kind of felt like Lembas is a little bit of the elvish version of we are giving you just a taste or a little bit of what our unending amazing life as an elf is like. Again, which is why,
because it is connected to their gods. It's the Eldar that they passed it down through, and those pretty much were the gods of Middle Earth.
Probably better. I don't know if you've had. I've definitely had those. I've tried those crackers, and they taste more like Cram than Lembas to me. So anyway. Well, do you want to? It speaks a lot to the breadth of the types of food and how in Tolkien's universe, right, you've got these sort of cultural elements of different, I think it's fitting that the elves have, we've got our super secret special recipe that nobody else gets to have. And the men would be like, we've got this thing. And everybody's like, thanks for trying. It's great. It works, but it's not whatever. And you've kind of got artisanal honeycakes from Beorn or...
Basically, I was like, the dwarves don't have anything.
Yeah.
The elves have their super special bread. Men kind of have too, I guess.
Yeah.
But, men of Dale... But they're kind of just normal men.
They're not all men. # not all men. Sorry.
And then Beorn, whatever type of human he is. Yeah.
Skin changer. That's the description, right?
What about his people? He is a skin changer, but...
Yeah, but they describe the group as the Beornings. So there's a group of them.
Oh, okay.
Him and, offspring. And so the Beornings, plural. So they are small, but there's more than one of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if they've got different outposts out there. Yeah, I don't know about that, but...
It's one big family.
I ate some Cram over here, so sorry. Got caught in my throat. Yeah, so I guess were you trying to get at the fact that it seems... So elves have a special recipe, right? They've got Lembas. The men of the Dale and Lake Down have Cram. Nothing to write home about, but hey, they got their own thing. Beornings have cakes. What dwarves? We don't know what they there's no maybe
they have
survival
something, but they're
food.
Really secret.
Yeah,
they got it in their
underground halls. The elves on this one,
but they're like, my lips are sealed.
It went down with the Balrog anyway.
Oh.
Is that why the Balrog was trying to sneak into Moria? He's like, I know you guys have a secret recipe.
You got the best cakes.
And then the hobbits like food, but they don't have any.
They have a special
survival food.
Well, they definitely don't travel.
Yeah, they don't go on these grand adventures. So why would they have?
Yeah, they don't need a travel food. They're like,
no need to.
I'm never going anywhere.
Yeah, to do a deeper dive on the lore on that one.
Yeah, we can for the dwarves. They've got to have something.
They have to have something. I don't know. Are there any other food things that kind of jump out in your mind?
Well,
on the food journey we've gone on today on some of the bits and pieces of food in Tolkien's lore.
There's nothing specific. It's just those, I know they eat in Lothlorien, but I'm not sure. They don't really talk about what they're eating there.
They seem to sleep and rest really well, so I'm sure it's...
Yeah, it was a very restful... I'm sure they've eaten some good food there.
I like to think the elves have good food. I know... Was it the Hobbit films where they show the dwarves showing up to Rivendell and being hosted by the elves? And it's that really
Rivendell.
awkward...
Yeah, they had a nice feast there, too.
They had a nice feast, but I remember the scene specifically in the Hobbit movie where the dwarves come in and like it's a feast and they've got the person awkwardly playing the flute, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like bowls of leaves and the dwarves are kind of looking at it like, what do we do with this? And I was like, I think we're doing elven cuisine a bit dirty here. I feel like after all these centuries
funny,
and millennia,
but yeah, I'm like,
they probably know how to make some really good recipes. They just do it for funsies because they don't really have to, right? Like they do it when they feel like it, or
right,
because they haven't had the recipe in 100 years. But I feel like they can cook.
Yeah, they can definitely cook, but the joke still stands though, because the elves would eat salad over the dwarves for sure.
They definitely eat salad.
It's a balance.
Yeah. So where does this leave us in the food culture of Middle Earth? She says.
I am now hungry.
I'm hungry too, honestly.
Even though we ate lunch before this episode, I'm ready for some of that cake.
Yeah, I think we might need to go poke around the internet and see if anybody has some good Lembas recipes out there. And honestly, if you guys have recipes of Middle Earth stuff that you make at home or that you've kind of discovered or created yourself, I would love to hear about them. I'm sure we would love to hear your weird recipes. Or
Tolkien had good thoughts on food.
Yeah.
He knew how to eat.
I think he's a man who knew what the real hobbit life was like.
Yeah.
You get the sense
he was
that, like,
the hobbit.
I want to be cozy. I want to be in my house in Oxfordshire. I got my pipe. I got my meals. I got my tea.
He's writing.
It's writing.
Yeah, he's Bilbo, probably.
There's a little bit of Bilbo. I think he'd kind of nailed the hobbit life in a very like pastoral English countryside kind of way. And
yeah,
so I think the lesson here is enjoy your food, regardless of whether it's Lembas or Cram or something in between.
Food is good.
As a parting thought, I would say try to go hunt down some of those recipes in your family from grandmother, whomever, and write them down before they're lost forever and sail into the West.
For sure. Yeah. And remember, not all those who wander are lost, but some of us are definitely looking for snacks.
Well, that'll bring us to our call to adventure. So if you enjoyed wandering with us today, please subscribe to Beyond the Brandywine on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you happen to get your podcasts.
You can also find us on YouTube at Beyond the Brandywine. We'll be putting up visual tangents to accompany some of the podcasts, as well as recordings of the podcasts themselves.
Yeah, and for even more Middle Earth musings, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube at Beyond the Brandywine.
Plus, you can find all of our links and more at beyondthebrandywine.com.
And we'd love to hear your favorite recipes or other kind of Tolkien food-related stories, so feel free to reach out to us on socials, or you can email us at hello@beyondthebrandywine.com.
What was that again?
hello@beyondthebrandywine.com.
And until next time, don't be afraid to wander beyond the Brandywine.
Prancing Pony Club.
That's all you need.
Yeah, the Lord of the Rings edit.
Prancing Pony Club. We could make that a...
We should, actually.
Lembas.
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 Lovely Lembas. Ah, cool.